Hi folks, and welcome into Truck King. Today we're looking at this, the 2024 Ford F-150 Lariat. And there's lots to talk about with this truck considering it's been redesigned, but maybe more importantly, Dad, we have our first snowfall of the year. So why don't we just hit the road and talk about what this thing is like handling on snowy roads.
But more important, we're going to continue a Canadian tradition with the first snowfall of the year. Get out there and do donuts.
Let's start this one off with the walkaround, folks. So our Lariat today is powered by the 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6. Here it makes 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, which are really strong numbers, and that is sent through a 10-speed automatic. Now, I mentioned this is the Lariat. Specifically today, we have the Lariat Black package. So yeah, it's the Stormtrooper look, white on black. You're getting the blacked out grille, the blacked out badging all the way around this thing, and a nice set of blacked out wheels. Although the salt makes these look white right now, but I promise you, they are blacked out wheels. I do think it's a sharp looking truck, and it does stand in contrast to that Platinum that we recently tested, because that thing was all chromed out, where this has a much more stealthy look to it with all of the black. So as we get to the back of this truck, let's talk about one of the most interesting new features that arrived here for F-150 for 2024, and that is the Pro Access tailgate. So first of all, you can open it like a regular tailgate, like you always could. You still get the C-clamp pockets right here for helping you to actually hold things down. You get a little ruler along the tailgate as well. Then we can put it back up if I can find the button. I'm struggling. Where is it? There it is. And yes, it is a powered tailgate. And here comes the Pro Access part of things. This little door that swings open. And actually, there's 3 different detents here. So you have right there, and right there. And the idea here is if you have a trailer hooked up, you can open up the door just this far, and then you can still get in here and access things in your bed. And we did hook up our flat deck trailer just to test it out, and it works great. The trailer foot sort of came up right here to the door, but that still allowed you to get in there and access your bed and even climb up into your bed, which you couldn't do previously. So it definitely does make sense, especially if you're towing. And even if you're not towing, you can see it here. I bought a Christmas tree this week with this truck. I was able to get all the way in here and toss that tree in. So it does just get you a little closer to where you are working. And then quite frankly, I think Ford felt pressured into making some type of trick tailgate because of what General Motors and what Ram offers. And this was Ford's solution with the Pro Access tailgate. Now there's 2 more things I want to go over. First is towing and payload. Tow rating on this truck as it sits is right around 11,000 pounds, which is solid. Let's go check the payload on the door. Ooh, right here you're talking about 1,462 pounds, which is a really good number for a half-ton truck like this. Now the next number and the last number I want to talk about is the price. So this Lariat, as it sits here in Canada, has an MSRP of about $93,000. Now the Platinum that we just tested, you can see it here, it has a sticker price here in Canada at $113,000. So no one's going to call either one of these trucks affordable. But with those numbers in mind, I want to go for a drive now. And yes, we'll play in the snow. But then I just want to talk about, are you really getting 20 grand worth of extras when you step up to that Platinum? Or should you just save that money and stick with the Lariat? So let's go out there now and we'll discuss all of those things in detail. All right, Dad, we're on the road now, and I'm starting off purposefully on a snow-covered hill because, yeah, I just want to talk about the four-wheel drive system and then the drive modes that we have in this truck. So first of all, let's do the simplest thing. Let's put it in two-wheel drive high and just see what that looks like taking off again on this snowy road.
Well, no offense, there is no two-wheel drive low.
Fair, you're right. It's got to be too high. So we're in too high now. Parking brake off, and I am going to put my foot into it a little bit, so maybe a little more than you normally would, but it is to prove the point that when you take off on a snowy road in two-wheel drive, it looks like this. Spinning, spinning, traction control, traction control. And it's funny because even that, like compared to an old truck, is actually pretty good because the traction control kicks in, it cuts the power, so right away doesn't even allow the truck to really put all the power to the ground. It was still kind of out of control, but modern vehicles are still pretty impressive even in two-wheel drive. But now, let's go ahead and use the knowledge of the Ford engineers and let's put it in slippery mode. So, same hill, and this is a dirt road underneath too. So now we take our drive mode, we put it over into slippery, wet, icy, snowy roads. Slippery automatically puts us into 4 auto, because this truck has that setting. And I'll basically do the exact same thing, just try to take off, I'll put my foot into it a little bit. Let's see what this looks like.
Zero slip.
Zero slip, truly amazing. And that's the thing, with a mode like slippery, the truck realizes, hey, I need to send power to the front right away because I'm in a slippery condition. Plus, it rolls on that power progressively. It didn't allow the power to hit hard and, get the wheels spinning. It's, again, I think it's pretty amazing what the point we're at with these vehicles. Put it in slippery, and it just takes such good care of you,
I think that's the key because, of course, you could always put it in the 4 high yourself.
Sure.
Or leave it in 4 auto, but the slippery mode modulates the acceleration.
Correct. Yep, so we are living in an age of, foolproof vehicles. Even if I was to go on a snowy road and put my foot to the floor, the truck is going to be like, nope, we don't want you doing that, and it's going to lay on its power and it's, side to side in terms of the traction control. It's going to make sure you stay straight. It's amazing.
I just don't know if I like that my truck is smarter than I am.
Yeah, they are pretty clever these days. Hello. That one was pretty decent. Nobody's coming. No. So I think what we can confirm right now is traction control fully defeatable in the F-150. It is a 2-press process, but yes, right now there is nothing keeping us going straight. Oh, I think that's good, man.
I think we burned some rubber there.
Yeah, heck
Something
yeah.
smells.
Yeah. And now that we've had our fun spinning some tires, let's talk all about this truck and how it drives straight down the road. So first of all, Dad, 400 horsepower, you're not going to complain about the power here. It really is good. It's turbocharged, so sure, it's not exactly linear. You have to wait a beat and then it comes on. But yeah, it's crazy powerful, tons of torque. We've towed with this truck too. Feels great with the trailer on it. Yeah, you know what? Ford didn't update the engine lineup for 2024, and I really don't think they had to, right?
No, exactly. And of course, the other thing we have to remind viewers of is that they still offer probably the most engine choices.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
You can really get into whatever you want, and you can still get their V8.
Yep.
So they haven't followed that road. However, when it comes to turbo, the EcoBoost has been around since 2011.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's certainly a known quantity at this point, and it's had its hiccups too, no doubt about it, but for the most part, EcoBoost has been pretty solid. People were terrified when it first came out, but yeah, considering it's been in this truck for well over a decade now, I think it's worked out pretty good for Ford. However, I do think there's a mental thing about the fact that the 5-liter is still available makes people feel good. It's like, I got the EcoBoost, but I could have had a V8, and just knowing I could have had it, I think people like that.
Yeah, wasn't that some kind of commercial at one time? I could have had a V8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And the engines that they're using right now, I mean, they're basically tried and true, which is, a phrase that we've been using with some other brands for a number of years. But right now, with Toyota, with Ram, that's not the case.
Right.
So it's not to say that their new engines are bad. It's just to say that they're not proven.
Right. Yeah, and that's it with Ford. And that's this whole change, this update for 24. It's definitely just evolution, not revolution. They didn't change anything dramatically. They massaged the interior, new materials here and there. One of the biggest changes is they simplified the lineup. So they really cut out a lot of different options that you could get before, just in terms of packages and what features came in which package. Ford has always probably been one of the most convoluted brands. I'd say they offer the most choice, but at some point, as the company building those trucks, that gets frustrating because you have to have so many different combinations on the line, on the assembly line that can come together that, yeah, I think production was getting just too complicated. So simplification of the lineup was also a big story with this 2024.
Well, hopefully that also means that they cut costs. Now, I haven't seen that in the MSRPs.
I was going to say, if maybe they did, but that wasn't transferred onto the consumers.
Yeah, because simplification often does mean a lower price.
Right.
So, however, we seem to be in a time right now where high prices are drawing back because, let's face it, 2024, most of the year, sales were in the tank.
Right.
We've only now, close to Christmas, started to jump a little bit, mostly because of the deep discounts being offered.
Yeah, it does feel like maybe we finally hit the price ceiling on these pickup trucks, because as I already told you guys, this is a Lariat, so we're not top trim here, and this is a $93,000 truck, and that price just, yeah, it feels so expensive. It's definitely par for the course. It's not crazy expensive next to a Silverado or a Ram, but that's just where we've landed, and I think that we're finally getting enough pushback just in terms of, sales and trucks not leaving lots that, yes, we might see a big shift in that price point, in all price points, hopefully in 2025. So, Dad, we just also tested here on the channel an F-150 Platinum. Now, that is top trim. Just to remind viewers, they got rid of the limited trim, and for 24, they brought in Platinum and Platinum Plus. Those two are the top trims. So yeah, we tested that thing. It's full of every feature you can imagine, gorgeous interior materials, all of that stuff. But it was $20,000 more expensive.
Wow.
Now, it also had the hybrid, which comes along with Pro Power on board. That's a super handy feature to have some real power out of the plugs in your bed. But I kind of want to attack this more from an interior angle, because with the powertrain, yes, the power boost, the hybrid feels a little bit more powerful, but it's not significantly more powerful. To me, the biggest difference in the powertrain is the availability of the Pro Power. And then looking inside, essentially all I feel like I'm missing are the materials. In the Platinum, like this plastic over here was wood, the stitching was a little more pronounced, the leather felt a little bit different, so the materials were different, but the design, the layout, and the vast majority of the features are right here in the Lariat as well. The one feature we're missing is massaging seats. So these ones won't massage you, but I also think, and you can weigh in on this, I think these F-150 seats might be the best seats in pickup trucks right now. I just find them to be so comfortable, just so supportive. Yeah, any thoughts on that?
My butt is happy.
Okay. Yeah, I really like these seats. So you're missing the massage. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, no, I don't feel like that Platinum had $20,000 worth of extras. I really do believe when you go top trim, some of what's baked into that price is just the fact that it's the top trim.
You're right.
The fact that some people will walk in the dealer and say, I want the nicest one.
Yep.
I don't care what it costs.
Top of the line.
Yeah, so from Ford's perspective, why not add a little bit more price onto that truck, right?
There's always that buyer, I don't care what the brand is, and the brands know this. And so, yeah, you get a premium for being able to say, yeah, I got top of the line.
Right.
So, if bragging rights matter to you, you're going to pay for it.
Right, and you get that big Platinum across the hood to let everyone else know that you bought the Platinum.
That's important.
But yeah, the heart of what I'm getting at is, and maybe this was obvious, but it needs to be said, yeah, in those top luxury trims, the value is just not there. You are overpaying to make sure you get that top-end truck. This is more where the value is found, and let's face it, in an XLT, that's really where you're going to find more value even than in a Lariat.
Yep, I agree completely.
Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this one. And you know what? Overall, I think Ford nailed this redesign. When you're the top player in the segment, and yes, this is still the best-selling truck out there, you got to be careful with the redesign. You don't want to do too much one way or the other, and I don't think they did. I think they did exactly what they had to do to make sure this truck stays relevant.
There's a lot to be said for that. Don't overdo it.
Yep, and that's what it feels like they've done right here. So yeah, folks, that's it for this one. Now, of course, we need to hear from you. Why don't you drop down in the comments, let us know what you think of this redesigned Ford F-150. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.
Thanks, everybody.